So Station 3, this is equipment. When you guys come down and get tested, you have the whole impossibility of having them grab any compartment and opening anything they want and saying, start it, turn it on, show me how it works, tell me the good, tell me the bad. So on you guys already, a truck company obviously has so much stuff, it's going to be important to get on top of it as quickly as you can to know what you're talking about that unit. Some things I think some people don't or overlook. There's a lot of resources out there you guys can use. Number one, what's the best resource right off the bat?
Me. Us.
Well, what else? The driver. Driver of that unit is responsible for most of that equipment, right? So odds are pretty good they should know mostly of everything that's going on. They don't know everything and they're not the greatest at it, but they have a pretty good handle, so there's a good resource there. Training. Call these guys down here. They do classes all the time. If you guys can't find something, have a hard time with it, what's this work, how does it work? Call training. Another one, library at your station. A lot of times those books that come out with these, the equipment that comes out with them have a little book or whatever. Those will be put in that officers or that library or whatever you got. Check out your library. Internet. You guys can get on the internet. All I have to do is get on, type up Homaltro cutter, and I can find a YouTube video about it, how it's connected. I can see all kinds of links and stuff like that. And then lastly, probably the best one is call the vendor itself. We had a little argument at my station about the saws. I ended up just calling the Homaltro guy on the phone and asking him exactly what he thought about what we're doing with it. And that was a great reference to you. So a lot of resources you guys have. A lot of people think about them all the time. So there's good stuff out there that can be learned. Probably the biggest thing that's going to come up for you guys, what's going to be hard to think about is knowing that what every single thing does. And if you don't know what it does, at least know to find out how it does it or where it does it, like going to that reference or whatever. I don't know the insides and outs of that new monitor we got 100%, but I can call Spec Ops. I can call down and talk to those guys down there. I can use the reference, the book, and so on and so forth. I have a working knowledge of what it does and all that. But right now, if you came down for your test and one of these guys asked you, what gases are we monitoring? What are the LELs, UELs? What's the IDLH? What are we doing all that? Is that all understandable, or is that out of your realm? Is that out of your will well? And now all of a sudden you're like, oh, I don't know. And then what are they going to do? They're going to keep pounding you and harping on it. Whereas you start spitting out that information, they're going to tell you, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. They're kind of on the same page. Think about some of those things. One of the questions right here on the maintenance thing, how do you clear the peak values on that monitor? Can you answer that right now? Can anybody tell me how to do that right now? So think about that when you come down for your test. Another one is fresh air calibrate. How do you fresh air calibrate the monitor? Does anybody know right off the top of their head? Again, they say here's the monitor on test day. Fresh air calibrate it for me. Something to think about, Saw blades, we see this one a lot. Not only the rotary saws, but chainsaws. A lot of people don't know how to change a chainsaw blade. Get with that driver, get with that crew member. Somebody, somebody's country has a chainsaw themselves. Get with shops. If they come to the station, ask them real quick how to do it. Get on YouTube. There's a good way to do it. Don't just assume that it's going to get changed or you got to wait for whatever shift comes on where the guy that does all the maintenance on the tools. If they say again, you come down and take your test. Okay, change the chainsaw blade for me. Are you competent? Can you change it? That was one that came up quite a bit. Let's see what else was another one. Haloing. There we go. On the tick. Anybody know what haloing is off the top of their head? It's right here listed on your testing thing. Define haloing as it applies to the thermal imaging camera. Right now, can anybody name it? Can anybody tell it? So if you came down tomorrow, took your test, and they pulled out the tick and said, tell me about the tick. What's the ranges it finds? What's the ranges it doesn't find? How long does the battery work? Where do you guys carry an extra battery? Where is that extra battery on the unit? What's haloing? You see haloing on your tick, describe that to me. So thanks again, this is just straight out of your packet. If you guys can't answer those questions, you come down here. They're probably gonna hammer you if you miss one question, they might let you go. You start missing a couple questions, the same thing, they're gonna pretty much say, hey, you don't know what you're talking about. Be kind of careful with that. Rescue tools. One of the things we also saw was with rescue tools, a lot of times in service and out of service, you guys get it on fire and break some. That tool that you've been working with, that you have all the knowledge on and everything, is now replaced with something else. Is it exactly the same with what you had? Maybe or maybe not. Now you got a new one and you do come down for a test. What do you tell training? We just got it. We just switch out. I don't know what it does. Well, guess what? You're getting paid higher class to drive, so odds are pretty good. You probably want to know what that does. That's probably the last thing training wants to hear is, we just got it. I haven't really had a chance to check it out. Make sure you guys know about that stuff. Special equipment you have, other companies might not have. I'm downtown, we got high-rise packs. Some unit outline may not have a high-rise pack on their ladder. So now I need to know something about the high-rise pack that I may not need to know about something else. They have all the rescue stuff. So this guy needs to know a little bit more about rescue, or if they ask him, you know, what are these bags, versus some other unit that's somewhere else, may not have to know about that. So special tools and equipment specific to your unit or specific to your the area that you're working. Fuels and oils. Some people are getting that kind of mixed up. We got a bunch of different things out there. We're doing a little research with the gas, the already mixed gas cans. I guess what, 18s? You guys got a bunch of those. The pre-mix. Some of us don't. Some of us have to mix it. How do you mix it? Can you mix it right now? Do you have enough to mix it on site? What happens if you run out? Do you have to run all the way out and run out of your whole gas can, then the remix from zero, or can you remix with half of it in there? That's kind of a hard mix. What uses what? What uses gas? What uses oil? What uses gas and oil? What other oils and types do we have on the unit? Bar oil, hydraulic oil, all kinds of other stuff like that. So these are all just simple questions that you might want to know the answers to. Rotary saws. A couple different blade types. Haven't really checked out too much over here, see what they have, but just right off the bat, nugget blade and a diamond blade. Downtown at Station 3, we only have 2 diamond blades. We don't have a nugget blade. So we have an inboard and outboard diamond. A little bit different. Some other people might have the nugget. They're probably going to come up against more doing ventilation with a circular saw or cutting wood decking or something like that. We're more prepped kind of going downtown and cutting into locks and doors and stuff like that, burglar bars. Fans, simple question. Well, how much air does the fan push? CFMs for the cubic feet per minute of the fan. How much does it push? If he asks you what's the size of your blade, how much does it push? You know, so on and so forth. Something to think about. That's a really simple question again, but it may not be that easy to figure out. Rescue jacks. When, where, and how with those guys. That's another big one right there. It's kind of tricky. Airbags. What are airbags made of? How many can you stack? We got 3 airbags on ladder 3. I didn't see how many they have. I'm guessing they got 3. Can you stack 3 high? I don't know. You got 3 bags, right? How many can go? How many can go high? How many can go side to side? What's the tonnage if I got a 20, a 10, and a 5? How much can I lift? How much can I lift side to side? How much can I lift stacked? These are all questions you're going to ask. Can I put them on something uneven? Can I put them on something sharp? Can I lay down a canvas? Can I put them on something hot? Something to think about there. How do I inflate? Do I inflate the top first? Do I inflate the bottom first? I mean, these are all just basic questions for just some regular stuff. Ladders right off the bat. Can everybody name all the ladders on their unit? How many ladders you got? What are they? What are the lengths? What are they used for? Which one, if you're going to grab one, which one's the best use for whatever you're going to do? So just all standard questions. I would go through this myself, and if there's not a single thing that I can't answer, then I'm going to figure it out and work on it till I can. And like I said, use all those resources I talked about. Questions on anything? I'm just going to walk the whole unit and just start talking with you guys about this stuff. All right? So a lot of times we'll start up in the front, depending on if the Knox box is up there. The captains sometimes have the tick, sometimes the tick's in the back. The Knox box key sometimes is now moving to the back. But again, can you right now, can anybody get in there and get the Knox box? Everybody knows their code. Everybody knows how to get it out. Everybody knows where to find it. The tick, going ahead and grabbing that. Where's the replacement? Tick's battery's dead. Where's the replacement battery? Can you find that? Something to think about. Working our way back, we'll come to the saws. What's training gonna ask when you come down? Which one's a metal cutting blade out of these 2? Which one do I want to bring? This one, right? This is diamond blade. This is one. Is it good for bending, for cutting wood and stuff like that? Probably not as good. Why is it not as good? It doesn't have any openings, any gaps like the nugget blade does to kind of throw that wood to get rid of it. There's a reason why. What position are they in, inboard or outboard? Outboard. They're both in outboard, right? It's outboard out on the outside? Oh, there we go. Someone saw it. Good. One's in outboard, one's in inboard. Why does that matter? Why do you have them in different, in inboard, outboard? Cutting, the ability to cut, right? This one in the outboard, when I go to some kind of type of high-rise or commercial structure like a Best Buy or something, I can get that blade that much lower, right? That doesn't sit as low when I'm trying to cut. Stuff like that. Can anybody here right now change it to inboard to outboard? Something they may ask you to do on the spot. Hey, change it inboard to outboard. So those are all the things you guys need to think about. Just don't come down here and go, It's a K12, and I grab it once in a blue moon. I mean, you guys need to literally know pretty much everything about it. Difference between these two, if we're going to cut a roof, which one we grabbing? Does it matter? One, well, yeah, I think so. One for me is for kind of like little stuff like limbs. One's for doing like big stuff like ventilation, stuff like that. Do they pretty much exactly the same? Yeah, all the same. Fuel's typically the same. Everything's the same. This one has a decompression switch. This one doesn't. Blade's a little bit different. What do we use on this one? Carbide tipped, exactly. How do we know it's carbide? Where do we keep a carbide? Do we have an extra carbide? Right now, go ahead and change it out to another one. You know, can you do that right this second? That's where you want to be with this stuff. What's missing off this one that some units will have? Depth gauge, right? So can we take the depth gauge off? Do we know how to put the depth gauge on? Do we know why it works or how it works? I mean, you guys need to split this down to hairs and stuff like that. What type of fuel do we need? Do we need a mix? Do we need gas and oil and two separately? Gas and oil mixed together and then put it in? And what other oil goes with this? Bar oil, right? All that stuff. So just something to think about right from the get-go. You guys need to be really, really good on that stuff. What's the front part? What's this part called? Chain brake, exactly. Why does it work and how does it work? It actuates front and back. It stops the chain from spinning. The motor's still running, but the chain will stop spinning. So stuff like that. Those are going to be the questions. What's this guy called? There you go. Exactly, right? It's called a scrinch. So it's a little play on the old screw and wrench put together. That's what you're going to need to change that tool, so on and so forth. What RPMs do these guys run at? What's that? Exactly, 5,400 RPMs. Look, it's perfect. It says right on top. What a lot of crews are doing, and you'll see it more and more, I saw it kind of over here, is they're doing a bunch of this. What's the CFM? What's the size? What's the length? What's the cutting capacity on the tools? How wide does it spread? What's the force? What's the lifting capability? Stuff like that. All the fuel cans are marked. Is it a mix? Is it not a mix? Is it straight up gas? So on and so forth. You guys don't be afraid to write on any equipment you guys got. If it's not already on there, it's not going to hurt to put it on there, and that's going to be a great reference when you're on scene too, right? Easy to find, easy to do. High lift jack, here's a tool we don't use all that often. Does everybody know how to use it? Everybody know how to use it without busting their face open when it ratchets back? Do you know how to switch it back to the other side when it wants to go the other way? Something to think about. Just because you don't use it on test day, don't think that, hey, I never use it on call my whole time in here. They may or may not say, hey, pull it out, show me, tell me what it does. How much does it lift? How far of a throw or how far of a lift does it have? Can you answer those questions right off the bat? Power reels. This one, they may say, hey, last class they did a bunch of this. Take this out, I want a box light or I want a fire light 100 feet down there, and they put an X on the ground. They say, give me power right here. How do you get power? Does the generator need to be on? Does the PTO need to be on? Does the aerial need to be on? Does the master need to be on? Does none of it need to be on? Just the battery, who knows, right? Make sure you guys can answer all those. How much of a reel do you have? Can you reach over there? What pigtail do you need to convert? If you're going from firepower to something else, what do you need to convert that? Where is that pigtail? Just simple stuff like that. It sounds like it's kind of easy, but at the same time, when you're under stress and those guys are riding the grade, it's like you get a little amped up. Fans, pretty straightforward, right? Everybody pretty much has two different fans, maybe a little different. We have an orange one instead of a yellow one. I don't know what's up with the yellow one. I'm guessing it's just a newer one or a different size. I think it's smaller than the one we have, but obviously runs pretty similar. They have actual percents on a twist over here. Ours is a push button with a rabbit and a turtle, and it just goes up. You hit 85, whatever, 90%. So again, now I go to 31s and I switch out, or Shops comes by and gives me this one instead of mine. I need to take a look at that before I come down and take this test and make sure I'm familiar with it. What's the difference? One's electric, one's gas. What's the big difference with that? Maybe this one's not so good for working outside. I can leave it alone. I actually have to run power to it, so this one's maybe better for outside. Why would I use that? Maybe this one's not so good for inside. Got a big apartment complex or a big high rise. I don't want to exhaust all that stuff inside, so now I want to grab this. I got plenty of power inside a high rise. Maybe that's a better choice. Those are questions they're going to ask. Why would you grab it? How would you grab it? Who knows what that is? Grip hoist. There it is. It says so on the side, right? A lot of times these pieces of equipment have a lot of information. If you just take a chance and look at them or highlight them, they'll give you a lot of information. I don't know exactly what it does. That's probably more in the spec ops realm. But if I'm assigned to this unit and I'm coming down to taking a test, I damn sure gonna know everything about it, who made it, how much it weighs, what it works, what it does, and so on and so forth. They got a bunch of rope bags, a bunch of rescue stuff. This one, here's a new one. Everybody seen this one? Just came out, what, last winter or this winter? So what is it? What's it do? How do you connect it? How do you, okay, they come down again. The training says, hook this up to the tip of the aerial. What connector do you use on your aerial? We have a bar that goes across with 2 little pins, and then we use this little piece of webbing and then a piece of rope that's in here. How far can you reach with it? How does it actuate? There's actually a Velcro strap in here you have to unattach so it can actually cinch. I mean, this is just simple questions. They're gonna go, okay, put this together, show me how it works. So again, if you walk past anything in the unit and you don't know how it does, works, what it actuates, how it works, goes, then that's what you're up against. Here's a good one right here, right? What's this called? TED right on there, right? So what's TED stand for? There you go. Some people, you'd be surprised, don't know what it stands for. Here's a good one. When do you charge it? How often do you charge it? How long does it stay charged for? Nobody knows, right? What if they ask you that? Okay, well, I can tell you right off the bat, there's no policy written that says how long to charge it. We're kind of working through that right now. Where's the connector to charge it? Does you guys carry it on the unit? Can you charge it right now? Is it at the station? Where's it at? So right now, training goes, okay, charge this for me, turn it on, tell me how long it's gonna last. What are you gonna say? Right? Again, something to be real careful about. This has a radio charger, it plugs in, it screws in, you guys should have one. We're keeping ours at the station in the captain's desk where we used to keep the old O2 check, the old monitor check. We're guessing anywhere from 3 to 4 hours for a charge, and we're doing it on big Wednesdays. That's our cleanup day. So none of that's policy, that's all what we made up. But at least I have an answer when training asks me, right? How long it lasts, I couldn't tell you for sure because there's different groups that say different times. But again, if training asks me, I'm gonna say 2 hours. Yep, positive. Yep, we ran it the other day, right? That's another little trick with training, right? You may not know the answer to everything, but definitely sound confident in sure in your abilities, right? Car wreck to get that thing back in there. I'm gonna leave that like that. Rig bag, everybody comfortable with the rig bag? We've done enough rig drills and everything. Everybody should have a pretty good handle on that. The bag, the big search bag, how long is it? How many knots? How long are the knots in between? You know, a simple question, but again, can you answer it right now or off the top of your head? All the stuff for hooking up, this is more engine company stuff, but now that everybody's at Quint, this comes back to being vital again, right? All the old truckies that are just on ladders be like, I don't know what that does. We don't even need to open that compartment up, right? Now we're back to Quints, everything, all this is vital, right? Where does it go? How do you hook it up? Which way do you hook it up? On the Quints, is everybody going off the back now? Some Quints are, some aren't, right? Loctite on the back for that rear, some are not. Some people want to just go off the side on the captain's side because they don't want to go be on the driver's side. Some people go off the driver's side, so on and so forth. Again, something to think about. Pretty straightforward. Anybody know what this guy is? Nope. It's for large shakes, large strawberry shakes. You just see, no? What's it? For the drums? Yeah, exactly. So pulling out, pulling suction on the drums. Again, if you can't answer anything that's in there, make sure that you can definitely get a handle on it. What's this guy for? It's like a little sked? Nah, it's a rescue boogie board. On the other side, it's got handles, throw it in the water. Again, I mean, if you get signed to that unit, you got to go there. And again, think about this too. What is everybody doing now? Killing on overtime. You guys killing on overtime, get your driver. Where might you drive? Might not be your station. You may get it at 31s. They say, hey, go drive 31s for me. So don't take the easy road out and think, hey, I just know my unit, that's all I need to know. You might be on another unit and you're a driver, and where's everybody gonna come and say, hey, go grab this for me, go grab that for me. So take a little bit of pride in that. Sometimes what they'll do with this closed, what's in this compartment, right? They'll ask you without even showing you. What you should be able to do is say, this is here, this is here, this is here, 1, 2, 3 of these, this is here, this is here, this is here, 1, 2 of these, and the bag. And then from there, go ahead and open up, and you should be probably 85 to 90% right. You may forget one little thing, or maybe somebody threw some in, you know, but pay attention. Make sure you can say what's in there and what it does. This ladder is pretty straightforward. I don't think anybody really has too many problems with that, but knowing what's in there. This is kind of where more people get messed up. Aerial drain. Where is it? Can you find it? When you're looking for it and you're having a spaz and you're being graded, is it easy to find? Do you leave it open? Do you leave it closed? How do you open or close it? Is it a wheel? Is it actuated up or down? A couple different units are different. Right here, without this even having it, what training goes, what's this? Say, I don't know. What are they gonna say? Ask you more and more, right? But definitely, so it's the overrides, right? So some are marked, some are not marked. It used to be where there's another little section under here that said overrides, or a section over here that said overrides. But definitely make sure, again, you know, can you use these? What's the pulling force of these? What can we tie up to these? What can we connect to these? What on our unit will hook up to these to be able? Can we pull a car? Can we pull a piece of a structure? Can we do what? Just depends. What's in here? What to do? So on and so forth, you know? Here's a great example of what I was talking about. You guys should do it on your own units. So already it says 31-inch spread force of 80,093 pounds. Pull force of this. I don't think that the pull and push, they don't really have a lot to do with what's real, because nobody knows that, right? Can you tell me the difference between 90,000 pounds and 87,000 pounds of force pushing? Probably not. But what's the important one? 31, right? If I know I need to get this dash, push this dash, lift this dash or something like that, I know kind of what almost 3 feet looks like. So that's a good indicator there. That's nice to put on there, but it's not as important, right? Same thing with the cutting. Cutting will have the opening of the blade, max opening of the blade, so on and so forth, max cutting force and all that. So that's a real good thing. A lot of people do it on their rams too. I don't see it on theirs. It might be on the back, but what they'll do is they'll write the closed length and they'll write the open length. That's a real good thing to have. The power plants. Again, what's different about this one? How does this work? Can you actuate both of these at the same time? Can you only actuate one? How do you carry it? How do you fill it full of fuel? If it needs new hydraulic fluid, where does that go? What is this? Oil, hydraulic fluid. All these things that go into it. The one we have at our station has a special wrench. The wrench hangs up on the wall. So if you don't know where that wrench is, you might have to use a Leatherman or something to open it up. But if you know right where the wrench is, it opens up nice and easy. So again, something to think about. Is this compatible with anything else? Do this work? Do these connections work with the Homatra tools? Can another unit come up, or do they have to be another Hirsch unit or another TNT unit? Something to think about. They say Rescue 14 pulls up on a call with you guys. They have a set of Homatras. Can they use your cords? Yes or no? That's a good question. Something to think about, right? Salvage, not really much going on there. Why do we have two different salvage covers? Exactly. With this one, this is always my personal favorite, because we can dump it in there, leave it with that family, whatever, protect their equipment, and if we get relieved on scene, we can go home. What happens if we leave this one? We either need to steal one off another unit and switch out with them, or come back later, find it, clean it up, and doing so. So it's a much better choice there. So if you get asked why you have two salvage covers, which way it would go? You know, another simple question. What are these guys over here? Why do they have them? What are they going to do with them? It's a little tacking, little roofing nails, right? They're going to take some of this stuff, go put it up on a hole they cut a hole into, tack it in, so in case it's weatherized for a day or two until the insurance guys can get there and do something for them. Cribbing, if they ask about cribbing, how much can we crib? How high do we crib? How do we crib if we were going to crib? Do we want a box crib or what? The airbags themselves, let's see on these. So again, they did a great service right there. Right there it says 22 tons, right? Very nice. If you'll look on a lot of these, it'll say all this stuff right here. Right there, it tells you already how high it inflates to 11 inches. It tells you the cubic liters. It tells you in pounds. It does 44,000 pounds, which, you know, half of that is 22 tons. So there's a lot of information on these things. So if you guys just accentuate that, or take your time and kind of be real careful if they ask you, how much does that lift? a lot of these pieces of equipment, you can just almost read them. But it's always nice, take your big marker, black marker or white marker or whatever, and write it real big and easy to see. They'll have it on all these. Look at this. They wrote the lengths on them. That's pretty nice to know how far they need to be, or what distance they have to travel to go with that stuff. What's in here? Anybody? Does it look familiar at all? What's that? Exactly. It's the dual power pack right there. How many people have this? Ours came out of the box and actually goes into a bag like this. So even though it's the exact same tool set, ours is found all scrambled together in a bag like this. So a little bit different, but the exact same thing. Bottles, what's different about the bottles? Yeah, they're 60 minutes versus what? The 45s. Why are they there? Probably more work for all this. So nobody's gonna put that on an air pack. They're gonna use it for all the work, air chisels, all that stuff. Something to think about. All their bags, look what they did with their bags. DeWalt kit, high-rise kit. They didn't write on this one, so it's probably just a tool bag. So everything is really marked real nice and clean, easy to see, really nice and functional for everybody that's gonna go ahead and use it. Here we go, we got a nice little wrap here, bungee wrap with a bag around, a couple of air bottles. So what's this for? Anybody recognize it? It's like a little SAR cart, little air, supplied air for rescues they're gonna make. They can hook up hoses and feed guys, so specific to this unit and rescue and all that stuff, but you guys may see it. SAR 1 stuff, more air bottles than the additional ones they have on the side, so they can supply. Medical bag, pretty straightforward, right? Looks like they have a tripod here for doing some low angle, high angle, whatever they're gonna do. All this stuff is already pre-rigged with bridles and stuff like that. So knowing your piece of equipment, what's up in here? Mops, shovels, big push brooms, all the highway cleanup debris stuff, something in there you might want to know. Again, they might just say, hey, open it up, tell me what's in there, pull it out. Moving on back. Again, look what they did here. Very nice. Go grab the Sawzall. How hard is that going to be to find? Real nice, real clean, real easily marked. Ajax tool, real nice, real clean. So really, really cool. On top of that, how do I change that? How do I change the battery if it's battery? If it's a Sawzall, how do I change the blade? What type of blades do we have for the Sawzall? We have metal cutting blade, we have wood cutting blade. How do I tell the difference? The teeth, what's the proximity of the teeth? What's the depth of the teeth? How big are the teeth? How do I actually actuate the Sawzall to take the blade out, to put another one in and close it back? That's what you need to do. So take this out, take every piece of equipment out one at a time and just play with it. Pull the paperwork on it, talk to somebody about it, ask questions about it. Sawzall, which way does the blade need to go? If the Sawzall's here, does the blade have to be down? Absolutely not. Blade can be upside down. They got new ones now where blades can go side to side. So you can cut where you hold the Sawzall regular and the blade sideways, so you can walk this way with it, or cut down with it, or cut up and under with it. Does your Sawzall do that? It just depends what one you got. So did you know that? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. What if they ask you about that? Again, something to think about. Guys, make sure you touch and play with everything. All the tools that go in here. How many people know how to use all the tools? All kinds of extra stuff in here. There we go. What's this guy called? Key tool, right? So what do they do? What do these guys do? Yeah, actuate locks after you pull a lock, but what do you pull the lock with? The K tool, right? Put it in. Which way does it go? Which side goes towards the jam itself? Which side goes out? So the flat side goes towards the jam, and then you hit over lock. So you won't want to go the cutting side towards the jam, because as soon as it went over, it wants to go into the jam, and then it's going to lock up, and it's not going to get a good bite. Did you know that? Did you not know that? Are they going to ask you that? Or are they not going to ask you that? What goes in here? What do we hit it with? Halligan, right? So good question again. So they say, hey, pull out the K tool and give me a demonstration real quick. Tell me which way it goes. Tell me what this does. Tell me what these little things do. Are you prepared? Here's a good one, especially working downtown, right? What are all these guys called? Elevator keys. Why are they different? Yeah. So we got a drop key, right? Just a nice little lever. Then we got a 2-stage drop key. Nice, right? How about this one? What's this one called? What's that? Moon, exactly. Moon or crescent is what they call it. There's a big one, and then look what else we got. A little one. So now he says, hey, go grab me all the elevator keys. Okay, what's this one called? What's this one called? Which one does this one do? What does this do? So on and so forth. So really anything is fair game, and be prepared, and just don't blow it off that you think you know everything, or maybe you don't use a piece of equipment. That's no excuse not to know what it does, because when you're in charge or when you're driving, they're going to ask you to go get it or find it or bring it or use it or whatever. And now that you guys are moving up in the ranks a little bit, and then we're going to have new cadet class coming out, who are they going to come ask? You guys, right? They're going to say, hey, tell me about this moon key. I never seen one. I'm not going to go talk to the 20-year firefighter that's over there, says leave me alone or whatever, you know. Don't mess with me, boy. Go ask the rookies, right? So you guys are going to be in charge of helping next classes get more squared away and high speed and taken care of, right? Firepower. Generator. Everybody understanding the generator and how that works? Where do we put fuel in for the generator? Anybody know the answer to that question? That question gets asked all the time. Nowhere. It's a fake question. It's a joke. The generator runs off the same fuel that the unit uses. So you don't fill up the generator. You fill up the unit. The generator runs off the unit. But they'll ask you that question, right? Does the generator need to be on for this stuff to work? Absolutely. So I get in, I turn on my stuff, I turn on my generator, I come back here and I look at this guy, and on test day, I don't have a light. Now what do? Well, I got a couple of different options. I got a fuse box over here. Maybe I didn't hit the generator inside. Maybe there's a bad connection. Maybe this guy came undone. Maybe it's just enough undone like that it doesn't work. So Mac says, hey, go put me a firepower light right at that door right there. And I go turn on my generator, come back here, no light. Oh shit, what am I gonna do, right? Check my fuse box, make sure they're all in the on position here. Make sure I have power actually coming back to the generator. Now what? Work my way back. Just start from small to big. Work on this, see if this actually connects. What's going on? Work my way back, and then maybe go back in the unit, make sure I actually flip that switch. If I didn't, maybe turn everything off, turn the unit off, turn it back on, and then work my way back through. Lights on these side. Everybody know how to actuate those lights? Are they run through the generator, or they run without the generator? Do you turn them on in the cab? Do you turn them on? Is there a switch on them? How about the lights on the side, the track tipping light, the track lights? Are those run through once the power is sent to the aerial, or can I run them without the aerial? Can I turn them on from inside the cab, or are they actuated at the back on the actual switches in back there? How do I bring the aerial up? Is there a dead man switch? Is there not a dead man switch? Stuff like that, right? And then even more, how do I do the override? How do I do it if I don't have an override? How do I do emergency power? So on and so forth. Can I talk from the voice there to the voice at the end? If there's a voice at the end, hear that voice? Do I need to push a lever to talk, or do I just talk? Do they have to push a lever to talk or not talk? How many places can I control the aerial? Can I control the nozzle at the turntable? Can I control the nozzle now with these new quints at the panel? Can I control the nozzle at the tip? Who does what? All these good questions, and then, like I said, any chance you run of being asked them, if you're not prepared to answer them, then that's going to be a bad day for you. If you got every answer and you're rocking and rolling, that's going to be a good day, because you know what you're doing and you're going to get out of here. Questions on anything we covered? Anybody having a hard time with anything? Anything just like mind-blowing, like just not making sense to anybody, or anything hard, or you guys getting help at the station? Everybody's being real helpful? No? Yeah? You guys like... That's your crew. That's your crew, man. You got a bad crew. You gotta come on over. You got bad leadership. It's weak on that side. I'll tell them myself. That's true. All right. Questions on anything? All right, then I guess we'll wrap it up. Let's just go ahead and take a walk. You guys get a chance. Touch, look, and let's mess with some of this stuff while we got a chance. I try to go as quick as I could to cover as much as I can. It's 11 pages on that one. That's a long day. I mean, I barely touched on most of this, but I want to try to get through as much as I can. So if you guys don't have any specific questions, why don't you guys go touch, play, mess around, see what you got.